Dr. William McCrea.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I find the debate interesting already, and certainly I trust that my colleagues, who certainly everyone wants to get into this debate, they're anxious to make a contribution. I listened to the opening remarks of the honourable gentleman for Orkney and Shetland, and I do understand that as far as my constituents are concerned, they have very great interest in ensuring that the economy is certainly attended to with vigour, and also the health service and the many bread and butter are attended to. Those matters are devolved to a devolved administration in Northern Ireland, and as the leader of my party, the Right Honourable Member for East Belfast, has rightly said that as First Minister he has these issues are constantly raised in the Executive and certainly attended to on behalf of the constituents. But there is a matter that is relevant to the peace and stability of our province that is still the responsibility of this House, and that is the thorny issue of the right to parade without threats and intimidation and free from Republican agitation, and this issue must be faced. Now, I understand that we had an interesting exchange from the honourable member from South Down, reminding us that we had no rights to walk it, but we had permission to walk it. I'm very happy to get that permission from Her Majesty, and I hope that he will always remember that and always apply for that permission to walk the Queen's Highway. But I can assure you that those that we're speaking about to having the right to walk the Queen's Highway, indeed in honour of Her Majesty and in support of Her Majesty as well. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I am glad to have the opportunity to address the House on what is a very sensitive and yet it's a very important issue that impacts greatly on the people of Northern Ireland. I had an interest. I was up in outside a little town, Stewartstown, which is in the heart of the Middlesbrough constituency. I was raised in a family that was connected with the Orange Institution. My father was the master of the local lodge, and I was very proud to walk by his side. And I declare an interest that I'm a member of the Orange Institution, I'm a member of the Royal Black Institution, and a member of the Apprentice Boys of Londonderry, and I'm therefore proud to have that privilege of that membership. But in all of the years that I have walked as a member of those institutions and the lodges, I did so to give offence to. Certainly, we certainly did not desire offence from anyone either. But sadly, as the Right Honourable Member for East Belfast pointed out, Gerry Adams was recorded as having admitted that for years before the situation happened at McCrea or in Pomeroy, parts of the province, the Sinn Féin movement had been stirring up, and the Republican movement had been stirring up an anti-loyalist parade fervour. Not because the community dissented from them, because many of the nationalists from throughout Northern Ireland have been very happy to watch the parades, and I was disappointed that the honourable member of South Down has missed so much of his life by not coming out and watching a parade, and he didn't need to come to Belfast. All he would have to do is, if permission was given to walk the highway in Downpatrick, he could certainly see a very colourful parade there, and that certainly would do his heart good. But I certainly am happy to give way.
I already said in my comments to the House, Mr. Deputy Speaker, to thank the honourable member for giving way, that the Orange Parade does take place every 13th July. 12th of July and 13th this year in Downpatrick, and I do see it.
I'm happy that he is now acknowledging that. When I was listening to some of the comments earlier on, I must confess, I thought that in his years of public life that he had missed the happy occasion of watching the parades in the South Down area. What I wanted clear was this: that there was not the dissent from those parades, but in actual fact it was blatant sectarianism that was stirred up by a group of people within Northern Ireland, and Gerry Adams admitted that he was the heart of that, and his grouping was the heart of that, that really brought this anti-parades to a head. And it's clear that this campaign, right from the beginning, Mr Deputy Speaker, was engineered and moved from an isolated incident to different areas of the province, thereby unnecessarily dividing and unsettling the community. And in reality, what did happen, Mr Deputy Speaker, is this: that Sinn Féin created a monster that they themselves are now acknowledging they haven't the power to contain. Because in actual fact, they were happy to stir up whenever it suited them. But my honourable friend from Upper Bann knows that in actual fact, much of the influence they have, even with that Republican community, seems to be, at least they're saying, that they haven't the power now to stop this agitation. They created the monster, and now they're not able to capture the monster and quieten the monster that's in our society. Mr Deputy Speaker, since that time, Republican opposition to law and order parades has been a running sower, and therefore it must be settled. This issue is one fundamental to freedom, and must not only be addressed, but it must be resolved. And over the years, the Democratic Unionist Party has campaigned for confidence-building measures amongst the Unionist community that have faced the onslaught of over 30 years of Irish terrorism. And one of those issues is the issue that's on the paper before the order paper before this House tonight. Solving the problems which have been associated with parades is a fundamental prerequisite to political progress and stability in Northern Ireland.